Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my channel, and my name is Tanya. For those of you who are new here, hi, hello, and welcome. And welcome back to all my returning Titans that are here for another live. I appreciate you guys being here and being patient. We have a lot of members in the chat today, and I forgot. SRB isn't in the chat. She knows that she won the contest because I saw that she commented, but I forgot to reply to her comment. I had my phone in my hand a minute ago, and I was wondering. I was like, "What am I doing with my phone?" So that's what I was supposed to be doing with it. So I knew as soon as I would come on, I would remember. So that's what it was. We had a contest for. We had a cash giveaway, $50 for 5,000. We got our 5,000th Titan into our group. So we did a contest. So our next contest will be when we hit 10,000 Titans. And we're already almost at 6,000 right now. So we'll be there before we even know it. Sugar and Spice, you should just be the weather person for us from now on in Ohio, because as you predicted, you said, are you going to get any snow tomorrow? Are you expecting snow? Or you said something about snow. We got a crap ton of snow. Last time you said there was going to be snow, or it was snowing where you were, and it wasn't snowing here. And then I got off the live maybe 10 minutes later, and we had a full deck of snow. So you always know the weather because we must be that close. There is a few things that's new that are released. Nothing really like groundbreaking, just stuff that's kind of behind the scenes, things like that I found like on Reddit. And I actually found some stuff. I found something in the PCA that I wanted to go over too, because I was like, wow, I didn't notice that. So I didn't actually read through the second probable cause affidavit all the way. And that was my biggest mistake. I should have done that because I would have picked it up. And I'll let you guys know that too. Hello, we got someone new in the chat. I love that. I love your name. Is it Azarbella? Azarbella? I'm probably saying that completely wrong, but I like it anyway. And I don't see Nicole in here. So Nicole Marie may be having a baby today. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Or we're in the afternoon now. It's good morning. Whatever, guys. Yeah, I don't see that. No, I don't see Nicole in here. So maybe she's had the baby. And I do have it on subscriber only in the chat, just because, bots and things like that. But you only have to be a subscriber for just any duration. And then you can just chat with us. We'd love to have you. Oh, we got someone else from Australia. Hi there, Eastern girl. How's your channel coming along? Is it coming along pretty well? You getting any videos out yet? Oh, I've made a live from sunny Australia. I bet it's beautiful there. Everybody has either a puppy. It's either themselves or a puppy or a kitty, I feel like, in our group. I'm going to know everybody by their animals. See, cat's life. I'm here now. There's the cats. It's good to see everybody. I got a lot of stuff to kind of go over with you guys. South Central Ohio, 0 snow. We have had rain. You didn't get any snow. I'm like southwestern, and we got some snow. Yeah, we did. We got like, I don't know, 6 inches or something, I would say. Yeah, what does everybody have? What kind of animals do you all have in the chat? Does anybody have anything exotic? Like a bird of some sort, like a macaw? Or do we have any like, my boyfriend works with a guy, he has a lizard of sorts. It's like a huge lizard. It's going to be like 6 feet. I don't know. I'm a cat and a dog person myself, but I love all animals, but some of them I don't want to touch or go near, including insects of any kind. I don't do insects. I hate like when I had both my eyes, I was okay on the insect train. But when you lose an eye, your depth perception goes off a little bit. So you think you're going to like smack the bug and kill it, or you're going to shoot it away, and you miss it. It's very scary. It's a very real reality for me. You have a Bichon Frise. Oh, I bet that's cute. I bet your dog's cute. Little dogs. Cincinnati. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Cincinnati, 3 to 4 inches. Yeah. We probably got about the same or maybe more. I don't know. It was a lot. It's fluffy though. Your neighbor breeds parrots. Oh my gosh. Is it loud where you live, Isabel? I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could hear parrots all day, but I did. We used to tease a lady when I was young. We were kids. We would tease this older lady, but we would also clean her house. So we would tease her, and she had a macaw, and it would just speak to her, and she would talk to this bird. And I mean, this Orpha was her name. I don't remember the bird's name, but I remember her name, and her and the bird just kicking it. And they're old age together. They were both old. The bird got out one time. We accidentally left the door open when we were cleaning her apartment for her one time. And she was in a wheelchair, so she was unable to really get around. And the bird got out, and I thought we were going to be grounded for the rest of our life. But we found the bird. The bird came back, thank God. Oh, good. I thought that you were. Oh, good. Well, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys all for being here last night, too. When y'all came for the, the drawing. I just was say drawing, and then I saw Nicole popped into the chat, and I'm like, oh, there she is, still pregnant. Still pregnant. How many days has it been? This got to be this got to be a world record. This has got to be. But Nicole is here. She's having a baby, for the ones that don't know. And then so someone commented, okay, so yesterday in the chat, we were talking about my boutique. I have a clothing store, and Nicole had asked if I sold baby clothes. And I posted the comment up like this, and someone thought that I was talking about maybe true crime and selling children or something. They commented on my thing. Vincent come in, he's like, you might want to address the comment on your page. I'm like, really? I'm like, it was baby clothes. But he knew. I was like, what? She said, this is ridiculous. You're probably so ready. Probably so ready. I would be. So I have a lot of stuff to show you. So I'll go ahead and just start showing you some stuff. Because I was just pulling up more and more, and I was like, okay, well, I can stop because I got to bring some stuff for tomorrow. We actually are behind on Nancy Grace's podcast by 2 episodes, which I didn't realize. So they are both, one of them is a shorter one, which is still 41 minutes. We're going to watch that one today. And then we're going to do the hour and a half one tomorrow. And it's basically over the probable cause and what they found and the evidence and, all that good stuff from Nancy's perspective, of course. Let's see what I want to show you first. Did I actually put them on here? Yeah. Okay. So, maybe it's this one. Nope, it's not. Of course it wasn't that one. It was this one. Okay. So this is my probable cause. These are my probable cause affidavits. See, it says first PCA at the bottom page. I'm just bringing these up because they made an adjustment to the probable cause affidavit from the first one to the second one. And it was kind of a big deal to me because I based a live on it. We talked about it on a live. So if you guys missed the live, we probably talked about this right when the probable cause came out. It was probably a week or so ago. We talked about how he was traveling to and from the crime scene on the days leading up to the murders, but then his phone, didn't ping in the vicinity of the crime scene the day of the murders, but later on it did that day. And so at the top of this, where it's highlighted, it just says, I don't know if I can blow it up. See, it blows it up really big. Let me see if I can, I need a better, I think I need to get a mouse trackpad or one of those little things that I can put, because I need a trackpad or something. No, it's not going to work. So we'll just do it the way we were doing it. So I'm just going to read it to you, but it just says additional analysis of records for the 8458 phone indicated that between approximately 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the phone utilized cellular resources that provided coverage to Johnson, Idaho. So we did a live on that because I said, well, where's Johnson, Idaho? It piqued my interest. And I was wondering why his phone was turned off. Later on that day, it was in that vicinity, turned off from 5:36 to 8:30. So we were like, why was he 3 hours away? Because in the, if you look it up, it's 2 hours away from Pullman, Washington, where he lives. And so I was like, oh, okay, maybe he ditched the murder weapon, on that route, somewhere between Pullman and Johnson, Idaho. So then the probable cause affidavit came out for the second probable cause affidavit. And this one is a little different. So instead of it saying provided coverage for Johnson, Idaho. It now says Johnson, you can see it right here too, Johnson, Washington. So if you look up, like, so I'm like, okay, that, you know, so I don't know, it's a different place. So so this whole time, I thought he had like traveled out to Johnson, Idaho from Pullman, Washington. And he turned his cell phone off or cut his cell phone off, you know what I mean, from 5:36 to like 8:30. But now it's saying that he was in Johnson, Washington, which is a little bit closer. If you like go up here, let's see, right here. I must say it's in my state searches. So this one here, it's only 14 minutes away, but I don't know it's like really on the route to there, but we could look. Wow. The first place is like a reservoir, so there's a lot of places that, I mean, I just wanted to bring it up though, because I was like, are you kidding? Like, I didn't realize that they made that adjustment in the probable cause. So I didn't want to I wanted to make sure you guys knew that. Your dad is 91 in March. I just saw that. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. That's amazing. That is like, wow. Must be good. Scottish, maybe it's a Scottish air. Maybe I need to move there. I don't know. I don't know how I would be at a 91 as a 91-year-old woman. The workplace visits were false reports. Yeah, we kind of figured that, didn't we? Oh, did you see like when did they come? They did come out with like, because people came out with something, and then and then the owner of the restaurant was like, no, they have not been here. Stop, bothering us. Please stop bothering us. Your grand is 105. Oh my Lord. Your phone, really? That's crazy. I wonder, do you have AT&T? I remember I used to remember AT&T used to have the best service back in the day. They would like ping, or they would take off of whatever tower was like closest to them. It didn't necessarily have to be like an AT&T tower. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but yeah, I don't know why, I don't know what the difference is, but I'm sure if there's some like sleuthy people out there, like, or we can do it later on this week, we can go through here and we can kind of see what we have. Cause it definitely does look like, we've got like these little like heritage centers are called, which is just like, little stops, like little rest areas that you can go do like, trailing and stuff like that, like parks and recreational things. Very, very strange. Oh, I forgot to go down in the chat on this one. I'm like, where's everybody at? And hello, everybody. I know I missed some people in the chat, but I'm like looking. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to like remember everybody, but you guys are all here, and y'all know I see ya. And I thank you guys for being here. And if you could, while you're here, throw the video a thumbs up. That would be great. If you want to subscribe to the channel, if you do like true crime, we do talk true crime every day here. Normally, we're here Monday through Friday at 10:15 a.m. And then on the weekends, we're here Saturday nights, Sunday day. We haven't really got down a Sunday time for sure yet. So, okay, I wanted to show you that stuff. And then I do have a new picture of Kohberger. Because if we didn't think he couldn't get any more creepier, check this picture out. Look at this. I mean, like, seriously, could the kid get any creepier? Like, does this look like a scary movie to you? Like, the people in the front are smiling. What's up with him? Like, look at this. It's insane. Sorry, it took me a second to get it like really up there for you, but I can even blow it up a little. Socially inept. Yeah, something. I mean, I don't know. I need to go backwards. It's creeping me out. Really, Sean Breezy? Not to me. He just looks so creepy to me. He's not smiling. He's not, I don't know. Maybe he just got a bad camera. Maybe it's just a bad picture. But I was one of those people though, like my friends always had phones, like always had a camera in their hand. Always, always, always. So I learned to always smile. Like literally, that's probably like that's a fault of my own though. Do you know what I mean? That's a fault of me. But like if anyone says my name, like normally I'll turn around and I'll smile really big because like all my friends, they always wanted to try to get a bad picture of you. I swear they were trying to. They were like, I don't know. They were trying to get you to not smile or something, but he creeps me out. I don't know. Oh, thanks for becoming a new member, Margot. I love that. You'll have a fun time with us. Summer, see, she sees it. but I can understand. I mean, Sean, he could, I don't know. Just look at the eyes. The eyes just do it for me. Like that just convinces me that he's just a very, very, very different. And then I heard, I don't think this is true though. I don't know if this is true. I just heard this and it could have been like anybody really. It really could have been because I don't even remember where I heard this. So, take it with a huge grain of salt. But I thought that I heard that the girl in the picture was his sister or one of his sisters, but I don't know that for sure. So if it comes out later on that it's not, that's my bad. But yeah, but it looks like his friends are like having a fun time. He just looks like maybe they were just like, hey, and they caught him off guard. But to me, I don't know, y'all. He looks a little serial. Michael Myers, eat your heart out. There's someone creepier than you. Yeah. And then if you think about the Dickies receipt, I keep on thinking about those Dickies, those coveralls that look like freaking Michael Myers wears, like with the mask. I'm about to look them back up. Like, I mean, it just is like, I hope that like, I don't know why I would hope that. Like, I don't know. I hope that I'm wrong about things like this, but I mean, I just like look at these pants. I'm just like, are you kidding? I don't know. This keyboard is like giving me a bad time. Because remember we looked it up, like the coveralls, because we were wondering, because they did find, a Dickies receipt. We were wondering what it could be. And like if you look up like coveralls, they definitely have them. Yeah, he's just not like, yeah, his sister is a therapist. And he has two sisters, I thought. But we've only seen one and we've only heard of one, but like so in the beginning we heard of two sisters, but we've only seen one. So, but then I read like in a couple articles, this was a while ago too, that both sisters worked in the mental health field. But I'm thinking that he only has one sister and that she works in the mental health field. Do you guys know if he has a second sister? If like, if anybody like, really found that out, if he did. And then I had a couple other things to show you too. Oh, you can look them up on a government? Oh, brown eyed girl. Look at you bringing, that's something I didn't know. See, I know that, I own a business. So I was thinking like I could look up the style number and get like, I could figure that out, but that's smart. Are they normal? Are they normal to have? Yeah. Yeah, probably in Moscow, probably in Idaho and Washington too, because I mean, a lot of people probably, I don't know about those. I would think more like coveralls, like Carhartt coveralls, like where they're like insulated because you're going hunting or something. Those look more like coveralls that you would wear like if you're going to work on a car. But I don't know if Kohberger, being a car guy, he doesn't look like a car guy to me. Oh my gosh, I would be terrified. Oh, the sisters. Yeah, I want to know about the sisters too. I wonder, does he have one or two? Hi, Sheena. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody that's coming in to the chat. Also, we are talking about the Idaho Four case. Of course, that's what's going on in the world right now. It seems like a lot of us have questions about what's going on with, Bryan Kohberger, and that's kind of what we're going over. Just some new articles I found and some stuff in the probable cause that I wanted to correct. So you would think so. I mean, you would think because or are you blinded? Because, I don't know. But she's, younger. And so, I feel like she's just got out of school. Like, she should be knowing those characteristics. I feel like, I don't know how to, I don't know the show name is called. Let me think of it. It's a show on, ID channel. And it comes on Sunday nights. And it's about, it's not See No Evil, but it's that one. It's like a show kind of like that, but it's not that one. But it's about the parents of having these kids that end up becoming serial killers or something like that. And, them knowing how they were when they were kids and leading up to it and the characteristics and the things that they did that was creepy or odd or, that just was offsetting to them, even as their parents or as their family members. I can't remember the exact name of it, but I think it comes on the ID channel at 9 on Sundays, right before the lady comes on. I forget her name. I can't think right now of the people, but yeah. They'll wheel him around on a dolly too, like Hannibal. Oh my gosh, they will if they need to. He has 2 sisters. Okay, thanks guys. I thought that he did. So where's the other sister? I know that we shouldn't pry because she's, her. I mean, that's not him. She didn't do it, but I'm just so curious because she was able to been able to hide pretty good. Oh, hello there. How are you today, beautiful lady? I seen someone at the High Court Glasgow with one of them on. Oh, I wonder. Yeah, I think that they I think that you would wear those if you were doing some sort of work on cars or something. I don't know. He does. You got to give the boy some credit when credit is due. He does have some nice hair. That's he does have nice hair. Because I was like, who gave him the gel? When he went into court that day, I said, hold on a second here, because his hair was way too moist to be just coming out of a shower. You don't know. I was like, what are they doing to him? Making him look more pleasant, I guess. I mean, you got to do whatever you got to do. So I found this website. I don't know if you guys know about it. So I might be late to the game. But it's this one right here. It's the state of Idaho. It's the judicial branch. This is their government site. And basically you can get on here just remember Moscow PD, how they had their site set up to where if you were if you wanted to know about the King Road homicide, you could look it up by that. It was in the upper right-hand corner, and you could get a full description of what, happened that evening with any, redactions or whatever, any corrections. They had a list of different suspects or, who had been ruled out per se. They had that and stuff like that. So this is so this is the upper side of that. So this is the next step in the judicial process that we get to see. So instead of it being Moscow PD, it's the state of Idaho versus Bryan C. Kohberger. And these are all of his case summaries. And it was updated, it says, on the 20th of this year. So I was going to go through a couple of the bottom ones with you guys because some of them there's just a couple things I noticed. I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? So maybe there's a lawyer in the group, or maybe Kim's here and she can help us. Let me see. Which one was it that I wanted to show? I wanted to show you the last, just the last few. So this one's just the custody order of sheriff. So that's when he was just kind of put into custody. And then I have a couple questions for you guys. So make sure that I don't forget to ask you them because I'm I need to ask it. I was reading some of your chat. Yeah, your husband wore coveralls to work in winter doing HVAC. Yeah, I bet. And he probably would wear something like that, or like a cut, like Carhartt coveralls. I used to work at a sporting goods store, and we would sell them there all the time to hunters and stuff because my brother hunts. He like he does deer hunting and duck hunting and stuff with his kids, his sons. Yeah, you're right, Nicole. He needed to have a weapon, and if he didn't, then Ethan would have taken him on. If it was a fight one on one, that's not even a question in my in my mind, that's not even like a question. You can just tell like Ethan wasn't a fighter, but he had build behind him. He had he was built. And compared to his like siblings, he was like so much bigger. For some reason, it seems like he was like the biggest bro out of the three triplets. I thought that was like it was kind of sweet how he was the biggest one. Your brother's a farmer and wears them all year round. Oh man, your brother has the hardest job in the world. Not a day in my life could you pay me to do that. Farming is hands down hard, hard labor. Hard labor. So this here is the next one that I wanted to show you. Let me make sure I have the right one. Yeah, so this one is for his bond. This is a bond, the bond for him. And it just says his, now comes Ann Taylor. That's his public defender. And she spells her name with an E on the end. So it's not like Ann Taylor, the clothing store now. So maybe that'll get out of my head. It says public defender and pursuant to court appropriate or appointment hereby appears for and on behalf of Bryan C. Kohberger, the above named defendant in the above entitled matter, and requests that a preliminary hearing be scheduled in accordance with the time limits set forth in Idaho Criminal Rule 5.1. Where did I want to read you? And then, okay, so this is where it was. Counsel hereby moves the court for an order shortening time for bond to be addressed if timing is insufficient. So they, to me, that sounds like they're requesting for bond to be or to have a bond, but he's not going to have a bond. He'll be no bonds. Sorry, and then this was another one that I wanted to read you. So let me just go ahead and go back. So we just read this one, that notice. So this one's the notice of appeal. I think this is the one. Yeah, so this is the bail one that we just read here. There was one I wanted to I wanted to show you, and then I exited out of it, so I just got to go find it. I'll go ahead and show you this one. This one is just about his hearing time. And then it just has the judge up here, the clerk, the date. That was his last. So his last court date was January the 12th. And his attorney is Ann. I don't know if it's Cher Taylor. It says court noted the presence of counsel and stated the defendant is present in custody. Ms. Taylor stated that the defendant is prepared to waive his right to a speedy preliminary hearing and stated that the defendant is requested a preliminary hearing at the end of June. Ms. Taylor requested at least 4 or 5 days for the preliminary hearing. Mr. Thompson stated that for the state's calendar, July would work better, but would make it work with June. Court stated that the court's calendar would work better for the end of June. Court advised that the defendant of the rights he is waiving upon waiving his right to a speedy preliminary hearing. Defendant understood. In response to inquiry from the court, the defendant stated that he did not need any additional time to speak with Ms. Taylor regarding his waiver. Defendant waived his right to a speedy preliminary hearing. Ms. Taylor agreed with the waiver. Court found the defendant's waiver of speedy preliminary hearing was knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily given in open court with the assistance of counsel. Court accepted the defendant's waiver. So that's just him. So this is him saying that he waived his right to a speedy preliminary hearing. So this is where I started getting confused on the documents. So So this one. No. You guys, I should have just kept that stupid paper up. Oh, it's right here. Okay. It was on the same one as the bond. So sorry. So this paperwork was from the 12th, filed 1/2, but down at the bottom here, so I'm confused because it says, down here it says the 11th day of January. So I'm not sure if this was the day before court or the day of court. But in this one, it says, so we just read, I have too many damn pages open, guys. So we just read this one here where it says, court advised the victim. All right, sorry. Ms. Taylor stated that the defendant is prepared to waive his right to a speedy preliminary hearing. Okay, so he waived his right. But then you have over here where it says, the defendant hereby demands a speedy jury trial as guaranteed to him by the 6th and 14th Amendments of the United States Constitution. So now I'm confused. Do you want a speedy trial, like jury, or is this for just the jury trial part? Is that the difference? Because like this one, okay, because this one says speedy preliminary hearing. Am I missing something? Is that what it is, guys? Because I'm just like, I'm really confused on one paper. I mean, same days, January 12th, where he's saying he's waiving his right to a speedy, preliminary hearing. But then it says that he demands a speedy jury trial. I hope that he takes the speedy jury trial. I hope that he goes up in front of this judge and he pleads guilty and he doesn't put these families through any more bullshit. Sorry, YouTube. They'll probably get me for that. But yeah, here's the other one. Sorry, I meant to tell you so I should meant to show you this one. The defendant, demands a speedy jury trial as guaranteed to him. Like I saw that today. I'm like, wait a minute, for the love of the Lord. I'm like, what am I missing here? So, because I'm not a lawyer. City of Angels. They are working hard today in the City of Angels in LA. They had that mass shooting too. So, oh, there you go. There's Mystic Werewolf. Oh, yeah. Is it still, are they with the suspect? Are they, I know that, let me see. LA. I'll probably just put this in. Oh, it's a standoff. On live right here. We'll switch it over for a second. I'm going to close out some of these windows. Because y'all, I got every window up on the computer. I don't even think I could put any more windows up. This was supposed to be live, but oh, it updated 6 minutes ago. So did something happen? Okay, I'm going to find it really quick. Well, I can't really find it. It wasn't like in LA, but I'm trying to find like a video for us to watch really quick just to see what's like going on. Well, apparently they have a lot of standoffs, guys. That's so weird. I can't find it. I just saw them. They got him in the van. Also, they did. Me too. Is it Magneta? Trauma? I would like to think I'm a lawyer. My mom used to say I was a lawyer. Or I should be a lawyer, she used to say. That was her words. You should be a lawyer. You like to argue. And the woman was right. Y'all know, like, I love to argue. I do. I just like to debunk things, not argue. Are you enjoying this now? Oh, everyone in Ohio enjoying our snow. Oh yeah, are you enjoying this snow? Because I'm not enjoying this snow. No, no, it's actually not too bad. I'm in for the day, so if I do have to go out, I mean, it won't be too bad because they are actually starting to clear our roads. Did anyone else get a bunch of snow today while we're like just throwing that out there? Oh, another Ohio person. Gosh, we got a lot of Ohioans in here. We're going to have to like meet in a central location. These roads are clear here. Only got maybe 2 inches. Oh, wow. Yeah. So you didn't get as much as we did. We got probably, I don't know. I'd say 5 or 6 inches. Yes. Yeah. There's a standoff now in LA. Yeah. I wonder, if they're going to end up, if he's going to end up doing anything stupid. Oh, you need some snow? You can have some of ours. The weather's nice in Iceland or Ireland. I thought you were saying Iceland. Oh, look at your doggy. Ohio, saying the roads are cleared. Whereabouts in Ohio? You don't have to tell me like exactly, but whereabouts in Ohio, like, you know, on the map are you? Hello, H-Town's finest. Just got here. Hello, everyone. Well, we're just kind of getting started, you know. We went over, let me actually get my notes out. I never have my notes ready, guys. We never do that. We don't do notes around here, do we? We write them and then we never go off of them. So I sound like I'm rambling half the time. But we did go over the contest giveaway. What was a giveaway winner? And it was SRB. She's one of our girls normally in our chat, but she isn't in today. So I'll make sure that she gets her prize, her cash prize. The next giveaway, we're going to do it at 10,000 Titans. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you like true crime. My sign is on its way from getting a neon like sign. So it's going to be at TitaniumBuilt, cute little sign. Then at 10,000 subscribers, we kind of thought we're going to go with this. So 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to get me a Nancy Grace cardboard cutout and put her behind me somewhere because she's my girl. We don't know snow in South Africa. Oh man. What's the temperature there? I bet it's nice. 60 and raining. That's like LA temperatures today. They had like, it was like 66 or something over there. You don't need any more. It sounds funny saying that you don't need any more rain in California. I know, especially when they tell you to turn the sprinklers off at a certain time. They're like, you used too much water today. I don't know if I could live in California for that reason. I think some people take me as being condescending. Sometimes I'm just being very passionate. That's me too. I'm the same way. And I'm like, man, I hope like, today when the baby comment came up, like someone made a comment. We were talking about my boutique. So really quick, we were talking about my boutique and Nicole asked, you know, do you sell like baby clothes? And I put the comment up and someone saw that, like something about like babies selling, or like, do you sell for like babies or something? I don't know, like those lines, but they thought that I was like talking about selling children or something. I don't know. Trafficking would be a part of true crime, and we probably would touch on that if there was a case that had to do with that. But that's not what we were talking about at all. They just didn't listen to any of the chat. They just read. So I just think that was funny. I'm like, very entertaining. So, oh, thank you. This is an exciting chat. I have like the best chat ever. I know everyone says that on YouTube. I hear that all the time, but no, seriously, I do. You guys are never like, you never wreak havoc. You guys are always really good. I don't need mods because, you know, everyone's really awesome in the chat. Everyone helps me out. You guys always welcome people like on. So if anybody is in the chat, like, and you guys are one of those people that you don't like to comment or chat in a chat because you're nervous or, you know, you don't think that people will like your opinion, try us out. Because I promise you, we are very welcoming here. Very, very welcoming. So I didn't find the LA County thing, but I'm surprised if I didn't wait long enough, I wouldn't have it. Um, okay, I thought maybe I'd have something on my phone. So let me share this with you guys again. So if you guys, I was going to put this up here, that way if you guys want to ever look on there, you guys will have this little website for you guys too. So yeah, it's just under the state of Idaho Judicial Branch. That way, if you guys ever, you wake up one morning, because I know you guys are just as passionate about this case as I am, and you're like, heck, I want to wait, I want to see, what's going on, and you don't want to wait for my live at 10:15 or something. You'll have it. I love when people like give the information out. Like they give, they like help you find it and stuff. Like creators do that, because then I don't know, it's just helpful. So they have all this on the docket, and I was printing off all of his stuff for a while because I'm a paper person, but I had to stop because, I'll be recycling paper for the rest of my life. I'll need to plant, when this case is over with, about 50 damn trees. I've went through like 2 legal pads since this case, and that's not even like, that's just on the like lives during the day. So that's a lot of lives. So we've been taking lots of notes over here. So what's the next thing I want to show you? I want to show you guys some other stuff too. So I want to show you the thing about the intern. And so that was the website there. I think that was all I really wanted to show you. I just wanted to show you about the difference in him demanding for a speedy trial and then waiving his right at one point. So now that I read that out to you guys and like talked it out, I think that maybe he was saying like he waived his right to the like speedy preliminary hearing or whatever, or vice versa, but he wants to make sure that he has enough time to address the evidence at hand. And then in the bond hearing, it sounded like his lawyer Ann Taylor was going to present evidence at that time that would make it to where he could get a bond set. She's going to have to bring some sort of bombshell revelation to get anything for him. He's not going to get a bond. I don't see it. Sorry guys, I forgot to share that tab with y'all. I'm the worst when I do that sometimes. Anyone got Ken's number yet? I feel she's missing out not being here. I do too. Isabel's right. She is right. I know the Judd Lowe telling and tell you profile guilty, but for me, I think Bryan K, he's guilty, the phone record, and he's face body language. Yeah, no, I think that he's not looking very innocent right now. I think that he's not doing anything good for himself. Oh, I wanted to read this, so it's up here. Long story short, okay, but I like this. I was in a motorcycle accident in 2020. My hubby and I are walking miracles. Oh, but I'm identified as Christine, a transfer to trauma hospital, and was named Magneta Trauma. Oh, I love that. But I don't love that you were in a motorcycle accident, but I love the name and I love how you got it. And you are a walking miracle. Oh my geez. I don't even want to know how fast you're going. I don't even want to know. My friend had a motorcycle. We were on it one day. Your girl got in a motorcycle accident. We were on it one day. We went to go swimming in this like little creek because I was a country girl at heart. We grew up in the country. So we went to go in this little creek and we were, swimming and stuff. And then it started pouring down rain and we didn't anticipate this. This wasn't in the weather forecast. So we checked and everything. We were being prepared, but it wasn't in the weather. And so we jumped on the bike because we were like, I don't know why we didn't just stay there and just get poured down on. Why we left, why we moved the bike, I don't know. It's beyond me. Now that I'm like thinking, I'm like, why do we do that? So we moved the bike and we were driving and I was trying to like cover him kind of like with their towel because like not like his face, but like his head, because it felt like bees were stinging you. When you're like on a bike, like it was so bad. So he went to pull into a driveway so we could park under their barn for a minute. It was like a gravel driveway. And when he hit the gravel, it just took the wheel. And so I was so small, he he knew it was going to happen. He flung me like off the bike. That way I wouldn't get caught under the bike because I would have. I would have been like, my leg would have been real bad. But that terrified me. And I just got like, bloodied and stuff, but it wasn't like anything bad. So you are a walking miracle. There's nothing around you to protect you when you're on a bike. And you said your husband too. So yes. Were you guys like in the hospital together? Did you guys recover together and stuff? Was it one of those like, oh, that'd be like really cute. You know what I mean? Like how you see those kind of like videos where the husband and the wife, they have to like recover and do all the things together. So Summer, you mean she always knows the days of the week aren't called our own. Yeah. She doesn't know what days aren't. I wish she'd come in here. She probably won't come in because we're so mean. Yeah, we haven't heard anything from Kim, though, this weekend. She didn't say anything yesterday. Did she go on Drunk Turkey show? Because I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her out and about. I'll share this here with you next. Let me see what it looks like on your screen. Oh man, that looks terrible, I think. Brown Eye Girl said, I think after he gives police speedy clock starts, I think it's 6 months. Well, good. Because we're ready to have an, answer. And I pray, I think dude's going to try to continue it, try to milk it, try to extend it, try to plead not guilty. I don't think that he's going to plead guilty until and if the death penalty is on that table. If the death penalty is on the table 100% and they go to him and they say, dude, you plead guilty to 4 counts of first-degree homicide, we'll take the burglary off the table and you plead guilty to life in prison, no parole, you'll live. If you take it to trial, you might get the death penalty for 12 people. You got to remember 12 people now. But 12 people also have to convict him, and then 12 people are like 12 people have to like sentence him for the death penalty. All 12 jurors have to unanimously say that they want the death penalty in order for it to be upheld, which I think is kind of I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know what I really agree with when it came to the death penalty before this case, but now that or in general, but now that I think more about it, I think that it shouldn't have to be all 12. It shouldn't have to be all 12 people. I don't know. Oh yeah, so Susan, yeah. So she went on a couple different channels and she could be anyone. Like I told Vincent, and I would never do this because I have like a soul or something. I don't know. And I'm not saying that these people did this, but it's so easy to fabricate a phone call. Like I could literally, let's say, who haven't we heard from before? Their voice. Well, we heard from, let's just say we haven't heard, like, I don't know. I don't even know what I was going to say now that I'm trying to think of it, but I don't even know what I was saying, guys. I just like lost my train of thought. We were talking about the jury, and then I forget what I was even saying. Hold on one second. I have to think about it. Okay, yeah, sorry guys. I was like, what was I even talking about? So, like sometimes your brain just shuts off, which mine usually used to do. It used to do that really bad after my car accident, but it's gotten a little better. You don't think he'll plead guilty? This Jennifer said. Jennifer Backus. Oh, you probably get. I thought of Trinity Backus when I saw your name, so you probably get that a lot with that case. She said, I don't think he'll plead guilty until he sees all the evidence they have against him. That's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking like literally they're going to I don't even know. I think that it's going to have to be a death penalty type of deal to where he gets to that point where he's scared. I don't know. Do you think his parents will be able to talk him into pleading guilty, or do you think they're going to, his parents, or I don't know. I don't know what I would do as a parent in that situation. Like there's a lot of, I know there's a lot of circumstantial evidence, but that's like a lot of the time in cases is, it is circumstantial evidence. So I feel like, yeah, and there's no insanity. He can't even plead insanity. He can't even try to plead that. He was way too coherent in court. He knew what was right, what was wrong. He knew the law. He was yesing and knowing, and he was well aware. He wasn't like drooling on himself or doing any, anything like, some people, they'll over exaggerate them, their mental, disease or defect if they actually have one. He wasn't giving me those vibes. He was very well aware of what he was doing. And it's because, he was going to school for it. Me too. I hope that they give him the death penalty. I do. I personally do. But then again, that could be too easy for some. The thing I agree with, so this is what I agree with. I agree with the 24 hours solitary confinement, like being confined to yourself by yourself all the time, like 23 hours a day. And you get that when you're on, have the death penalty, but then you get to pretty much just kind of, die and you get you don't have to sit there and rot. So I would rather you sit there and rot for 23 hours a day for the rest of your life. No general population. No Gen Pop for you, bud. No watching TV. No getting a personal TV for your cell. No getting a cellmate that you can hang out with, maybe your first friend ever. None of that. Maybe I need to write me some laws. I don't believe he could get I believe he could still get the death penalty even if he pleads guilty. Pleading guilty just closes out the guilt phase. Yep, essentially of the proceedings. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, we've probably only seen, yeah, maybe. They put such a small amount, because it's crazy. The probable cause is, I have them down here. This is when so I stopped printing out papers because this is a lot. But I'm one of those people, I have to have like a paper copy, like I like to highlight, I like to read. But even the probable cause affidavits, there's so much, like I know one's like has the search warrant in there, but if you separate it, they're from two different officers' accounts of the day. And so one of the officers proceeds to tell you a lot more. So I may have to go over the rest of that, where it stops from Officer Brett Payne and goes to the next officer. That way we know. Oh, he probably won't make any friends in Gen Pop. You're probably right. What did GP say? But he is guilty and doesn't get the death penalty. He will have a copycats and give interviews. It could be dangerous since to me he is a copycat. Yeah, that's true. Some states will let death row inmates have visitors though and do interviews, but I think that he will not be able to. They usually will make it to where you cannot profit from it. So no book deals, no movie deals for him, none of those. Now, with that said, and somebody brought this up in the chat early on, right when this case happened, I think pretty much, maybe after Bryan was arrested, I can't remember for sure, but we're here together with each other all the time. But somebody was saying something about Bryan, about if what was it? if he didn't get the death penalty, would he possibly be able to do like movie deals or something like that? And I was like, no, I don't believe so. Just because, they usually will set aside that for like the family or whatever. But I also believe that they're going to make a movie out of this as soon as they can. As soon as they can. So I'm sure, by spring, we'll probably see something. And Teresa, I saw you come in and I didn't even say hi to you. You said hi. I know it's probably been forever ago, but I'm I'm saying hi now. Mm-hmm. Preliminary trial will show. Yeah. And that was the other thing I was going to show you on that sheet real quick. See if I can find it. Here. So they already have, so remember how she said she was going to have 5 days set aside on the books for him? She didn't disappoint. I'm liking the judge. I'm really liking him. So liking her. So preliminary day 1 is going to be set for, June 26th at 9 a.m. They're all going to be at 9 a.m. the 26th through the 30th. So me and Summer, we need to do a fundraiser, and we need to get some tickets out there because she said she wanted to sit front row, and I know I want to be in the front row to be seeing this trial too. I think they actually stated something no, they did. They brought out an article saying like that there might not be enough seating for journalists and stuff because they want to make sure that the family gets seating first. I wonder if it was on that paper. No, it wasn't. So I read it somewhere else. It says notice was given, so it was given to him and his lawyer, and it was emailed via Latah County Jail. So they got it dated the 13th. Oh, what happened, Parawoman? What I missed? Did I miss something? And the judge decides if that jury can't. Oh, I missed something. I missed the next message up. Yeah, so I know that like he could even opt for what is it called? A bench trial. So no jury, just the judge. But I don't know. What would you guys do? Would you guys do that? Would you even risk doing a bench trial in a case like this? Or would you want 12 people to have your fate? That's a good question. I would want 12 people. Because then if you're thinking like a criminal, you only have to convince one of the 12 that, that there's reasonable doubt. But I don't see his personality winning anyone over. What about the email about the assistant job in police safety department? Oh, I don't know. I know that he applied for one. Did he get like an email back from them? Yeah, that is true. Glued Ahmed. Ahmed said, yeah, look at the body language when he was getting his diploma or graduation. Yeah, his face, this guy was not always a friendly person. You're right. Yeah, he just didn't have he had like a blank stare on his face. I remember that. Becky Lynn said, if we were in prison, I'd want my own cell. You better do something crazy to get it then. Like, they only give you, like, if you have a cellie unless, you just start taking out every cellie that you have or something. But I'd be the same way. I wouldn't go good in prison. Yeah, he can be on death row for up to 30 years before they put him down. Yeah. I like how you say before they put him down. I hope that when he hits the jail, his notoriety is going to stop. Like, that's when it's going to end for me, unless he does something stupid in jail and we got a report about it. But at the close of this case, I really want to do like a final video for a tribute for the victims. I don't know if you guys have been following me since the beginning of this case, but I still have my candles. I was burning 4 candles since the vigil, and I was doing it every live. And my candles started getting low because they're not candles from my store. They're just candles I had picked up. And so they were running a little low. And so I wanted to save them and do like a a last live for them, for the victims, of course, because they're the ones that get lost in the shuffle with all major crimes. It's just, it sucks, but it happens a lot. Well, we know they were saying he looked like Jake Gyllenhaal, so maybe that's who will play him. Someone said that on a post, and I was just like, are you kidding me? Yeah, they'll for sure make a movie, I feel like. Oh, no, you do. No, Parawoman. No, I'll always say hi to you. We always say hi to you. We try to say hi to everybody. Sometimes I miss people, though. Actually, I just said that a minute ago to Teresa, because I was like, Teresa, I know that. I was like, I swear I said hi to you. I just saw you guys' names. Sometimes I'll see like people's names and then I'll be chatting with them in the chat and then I feel bad because I didn't say hello or something. So, oh, Joe Kelly said, hi, y'all. Probably off topic, but regarding Mama Kim, has anyone noticed that either Maddie/Zana or Kaylee sororities appear to have chapters at WSU? Maybe I'm wrong. I think that I think those are chapters at a lot of, or at a lot of schools. The Pi, what are they called? I can't even think of them now. Pi Kappa Pi, and then there's the other one. I can't remember let me see if I can look them up. Because I think that they're like, a lot of these same sororities, fraternities, names are, they're all at the same, like different universities. Because they were actually, all of them were in a sorority. I guess except for like Kaylee would be going out of it because like she was, graduating, but she would always be Alpha Pi. So, or Alpha Phi. So she was Alpha Phi. And Zaina and Mogan, Maddie were Pi Beta Phi. It's always hard to remember those. I've never been in a sorority before, but I think it would be a pretty cool experience. I kind of regret not going to an actual university. I did online schooling. I kind of had to do online. I needed to work and stuff. So, Parawoman, you better still be in here. Where's she at? I'm going down the chat and trying to find her. 9mm and lipstick. I love that. Hi, new here, but watching and reading. The judge at sentencing can invoke the son of Sam Law so he cannot make money off of the story. That's the one. Yes. Oh, you are a gorgeous girl. Like, it comes up on this side, so like, your girl's got one eye, so sometimes it looks a little funny. Parawoman, where are you? She's hiding in the bushes. We'll have to bring her back out. No, I don't want her to leave. I love her. Oh, you're going to be at the Gabby Petito hearing in Florida. Let us know about that. I need to read up on that. The last few things that's come out, I haven't even read up on it. I thought about doing story about it, like, kind of, coming in just like where we're at now. But I don't know. It's just such it was a very, very intriguing case. Over 1 billion people watched her TikToks alone, like, and knew her. I mean, after her death, it's amazing. And her parents are amazing. What they've accomplished with keeping her name alive. And then Bryan Laundrie's parents. What's up with the Bryans? Oh, I forgot to tell you guys that. So the name, I wish I would have kept the article. The name Bryan, maybe I showed it to you guys. I don't know if I showed it to you yesterday or I meant to, but the name Bryan has went down in rankings for popularity for new baby names. So, yeah. Oh, hi, Nasudan Blonde. I'm still going down. I'm going down the chat like really slow. I'm trying to see. Oh. You would go for a bench trial, Detective Juan? Oh, man. See, I thought I would always do that too. But after seeing her with him, I don't know. I don't know. Let's see here. Parawoman, are you here still? I'm probably going to get to the bottom of it here, and then she's going to be like, yeah, I said it 15 times, but I think she's gone. Maybe she'll come back. Oh, Myrtle Beach. I bet it's nice there, even if it's cold. The waves. Oh, on a wash. Yeah, I did. Well, I did two or three videos on her. So every case that I cover, I'll tell you this real quick. Every case that I cover on my channel, I try to do a timeline video for you guys in the beginning. So that way, like, it's a pre-recorded video. That way you guys can have a full kind of timeline of what's going on. And then when we come on our lives, you'll be like, oh, I know what's happening because Tanya did that pre-recorded for me. So I'm trying to do more pre-recorded videos for you guys. Like, I'm going to try to separate like my lives and just do more pre-recorded. Because I know a lot of people don't like to watch, a full live, but we do usually put out a lot of information during them. Oh, you were in a sorority? I've never, never regretted being a sorority. I am now 46 and still have sisters, friends, and I am still very active with my sorority. You see, that's what I would love. I would love to have that sisterhood. Like, I don't have that. I mean, other than, here, this is my sisterhood. This is our sorority right here. Yeah, let us know and stream it for us. Yeah. I'll send you a camera down or something. Bryan is the new Karen. It is, yeah. And Kim's the new Karen. What about Kristen Dunst? I haven't heard that name in so long. Did I miss something? Oh, like who would play who? Jerry Seinfeld. Oh my gosh, I didn't see that. He does kind of look like a Jerry Seinfeld. Oh wow, I'm all the way up here. I'm like, man, Court TV will be. Yes, I saw that. I think I might. I'm just so infatuated with that case, but I'm so far behind. I need like an update. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking. I know that they're doing one tonight on. I think News Nation is doing one, so maybe we'll have to stream it or watch it and then do a live on it tomorrow. Yeah, and so yeah, I would love to. I'd love to even do some lives on that. Going off topic, but I was watching a live stream last night and I couldn't believe the amount of attention that was given to DW. They were texting him questions back and forth. Why don't I know who DW is? I'm behind on something. Someone help your girl out. I love News Nation too. And Core TV, but I'm a News Nation girl. Okay. Oh, you're in Rhode Island? Oh, we don't have anybody. Oh, you're from Myrtle Beach too? I like your emoji, or not emoji, but your thing there. Yeah, he's on at 9. Yeah, so Bryan Eaton's on tonight at 9. I thought about streaming that. Maybe I will. Because I bet you they give us like a full case. Because I wanted like a full case like breakdown. I don't want just like what's expected tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Because some people don't know the whole case and how many victims is really behind this guy. I mean, so have you guys heard of the Murdaugh family? Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard of the Murdaugh family. Put a 2 in the chat if you have never heard of the Murdaugh and, the case. Man, you guys are good. You guys know all the cases. I figured you probably would. GP's like kind of with me with the 2. I'm a 1/2. I've heard of all of it, but it's just been, this has been going on for so long. Okay, so we got a lot of 1s. Okay, so should we do, should we go ahead and cover it on this channel and go ahead and cover it? Or do you think that, no, don't cover it because, there's other channels covering it? The whole family is weird, I think. So, now we'll do, okay, so put a 3 in the chat if you think I should cover the case. And then a 4 in the chat if you think I shouldn't. Oh, missed the question, Bridget? Okay. So the first question was 1 in the chat if you know the Murdaugh family and have a kind of an understanding of the case. A 2 in the chat if you don't, know the family. This is like a weird one. And then a 3 in the chat if you want me to cover the case. And then 4 if you want me to, and then 4 if you don't want me to. Oh, Marilyn, that's a good idea too. Just do updates. Yeah. Yeah, I probably won't do every day, but maybe I'll do some. Yeah. Because it is very interesting. I mean, the crap's crazy. The guys, and I mean, normally jail doesn't age people that much. I feel like, I don't know what they get fed in prison, but I feel like a lot of the times people live a long time in jail. I guess they have time on their hands, but he has went, how he has fallen and his family there's nobody left. Not even the housekeeper. It says, how many times, their own wives or girlfriends don't know the real them. What do you think you're going to get from an intern? Yeah, that's true. Or you never know. They may, I don't know. They may be meaner to their wives and their girlfriends, and they may be nicer to an intern. Maybe more for, yeah, I should get Bryan. I should do Bryan Eaton's special. Maybe I will. Okay. So let's see here. I was going to read you this. I found this on, Reddit. Actually, it just came through a little bit ago. So I wanted to, read it to you guys, just get your opinion on it. Take it with the biggest grain of salt you've ever seen in your life, the whole bottle of kosher salt, because, this is on Reddit, but that's where we've been getting a lot of updates. So I figured I would just put it out there with you guys, and you guys could let me know what you guys think about it as well. So it's basically a question and answer. Let me show you the full image here. That building, which one? The building for the law office is bigger than you expect for the whole OJ dream team put together. Oh, I hope they don't get him a dream team like that. Oh. So do you I was reading the chat. Do you like it in Connecticut, or would you rather be down in Myrtle Beach? I'm just curious because I just saw the message and I was like, Oh, hello, Sonia. Oh, you're so pretty. That must be the husband or the boyfriend. Handsome, beautiful couple. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to read this really quick to you guys, and then we'll get to Nancy too. Let me see how, and then I can make it even bigger for you. Look at that, and it's not going to mess up. It says, so I live in Pennsylvania, and I live about 20 to 30 minutes from DeSales University, an hour and 10 to where BK lived. Found out that my partner's intern knew BK. Went to the same school, knew him in homeroom, hung out with him in a small group. She said she'd be happy to answer any questions I may have. I wanted to reach out to this group and ask if you have any questions. I'll accept the first 10 to 15 questions, message her with your question, and reply back once I hear back if she feels comfortable to answer them. Not sure if this will help anyone or if there is anything you really want to know about the suspect, BK. Now I said, take it with a grain of salt because we don't know, it's like this could be anybody. Let me grab a drink really quick. Thanks, Isabel. Yeah, guys, if you could just hit the like button as you guys are coming in or as you guys are in. And, okay, let me get back to the other screen so I can read this to you. There are so many tabs open. Let me just close some of these that we went through already. Okay. So it says update. I don't know if I can go down. I can. It says, here is the answer I received. Thanks for all your questions. This was awesome of her to answer a few of them. Below are the questions I asked her. Below that will be her answers. So like, here's the questions 1 through 10, and then these are going to be her answers. So I'm going to back out of it so I can read you the question and then read you the answer. And let me see here. And I'll drop that in the chat also. If you guys want to join our channel membership. And thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate every single one of you. I really, really do. Whether you're listening, even if you're not in chat, I know we have a lot of people that just listen, and I love that. Hopefully my voice isn't too annoying. Oh, I'm quirky. Okay, so here's the update. It says, so the first question was, did he have a girlfriend? It says, no girlfriend, he kept to himself. What would be the possible motive? I'm trying to see what, so it says, can I go back? Let me go back. Maybe. There we go. I'm going to see if I can. I need to go to the second page. What's going on here? Like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Why did it cut off? I'm just trying to make sure I get it all there for you guys. It's very, very strange. Because this was like one of two. Oh, it's because I have to do that. Okay, I'm so sorry. Oh my Lord. Geez, guys. You can tell that I don't use Reddit very often. Sorry about that. I figured it out. Okay. I'm so sorry about that. Just make sure I got them all on here now. Okay. So, and then it says, actually, let me just go to the other page like I said I was going to do. Well, I can't. So then it says, what would be the positive motive? And it says, I didn't talk with him after high school. He went to college locally and moved away. So it's hard to say a motive. He was obese he was obese in middle school. And when we got to high school, he lost a lot of weight. He mentioned that he was working out more often and a lot of people picked on him when he was larger. I do remember instances of when he would instigate arguments in class, but never him getting into a physical fist fight. And then the next one, so number 5, does she think he acted alone? And then it says, I would not have insight into that question as we have not talked in about 10 years since graduating high school. And then, was he known to use drugs? There were many people I went to high school with who are saying are saying he used heroin. I never saw him physically using drugs. Normally, if you're normally if you're addicted to drugs like heroin and things like that, you normally if people aren't aware that you were on it like that, you normally hide it from people. You're normally not just shooting up in front of everybody, like, oh, hey, I'm going to go pick up, my, friend for the day. And I'm going to go, do this. I don't know. It just doesn't, they usually do it a lot, like without people, like people being around if they don't know that they've already on them. Like if he was in like high school and he was doing drugs, I feel like he would try to hide that. Don't you think? And I totally forgot to share that with you again. So I'm sharing it now. I'm like, oh man. An innocent man would not need a 5-day preliminary hearing. I feel like that too. Yeah, that could have been it. Or he could have done, to lose the weight, maybe taken some sort of steroids. But I would think he'd probably just stick with the heroin. But the heroin, I don't see how that makes you smaller though. Normally, I mean, I thought like heroin was more of like a drug that like is like a feel good drug. Like to me, when I feel good, I like to eat and stuff. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I would think more like meth or something, like where you're like crazy up there. We don't have a statement from Bethany that I know of. Like no one ever mentions her. You're exactly right. I wonder why no one mentions her. Heroin is like the Jenny crack diet. Me too, Marilyn. That's a good question. Well, I mean, he was a TA, but did he get paid to do that? Do you get paid to be a TA? Hey, Ray. I think you can smoke it and shoot it and snort it and take it orally and other places. But, because I mean, he might not be a person that, shot up. You're definitely right. And if he did, he could have hidden it. My first boyfriend ever, I dated him for 5 years, and his little sister, she got into a relationship with a guy. She was a beautiful girl, teenager. I didn't even know what heroin was at the time. I didn't know what drugs were. And I was 5 or 6 years older than her. And she ended up becoming seriously addicted to it, to the point where she was stealing from her family, like thousands of dollars, like $5,000 at a time. Like it was so bad. And she would shoot it, but she would shoot it between her toes or like where you couldn't see, where there would be no like puncture marks or like bruising or things like that. If you were like, so about 45 a year. TAs make about 45 a year. So if you think about it, I mean, it's not a good, and heroin, I don't think heroin is very expensive, is it? I wonder if I look that up, if like, they'd be like, why is she looking that up? So about a gram, it says. Okay, so it says heroin is often cheaper. I clicked on here and then it like took it away. Cheaper than prescription opioids. So maybe he started with opioids, because normally people don't start with like that I know of with like heroin. They would start with like an opioid, like a pain medication. That's what opioids are. How much is heroin? The price of heroin depends. Here, I can share this with you. Depends on different factors. First, the type of heroin, as well as the overall availability on the streets, and also how the heroin is cut and processed. The purer the heroin, generally the more expensive, but it's not hard to sell something and say it's pure and then it's actually laced with other substances. Yeah, we couldn't get lucky for him to do that before he did this horrible crime, huh? So we'll go back over here, read the rest of these questions. Okay, so I don't like the way they have these like, oops, the questions marked. Okay. I'm just trying to find, where the hell are we just at? Okay. So, can I go? Okay, there it is. Has he ever been, okay, so number 5, does she think he acted alone? And then it says, she said, I would not have insight into that question as we have not talked in about 10 years since graduating high school. Was he known to use drugs? There were many people I went to high school with who are saying he used heroin. I never saw him physically use drugs. Number 10, does she have any photos of him or a yearbook yet? I will check when I get home. I might have my yearbooks with photos. And I guess that's all they asked. Now to me, what are my thoughts? Maybe I should write them down here. Because I feel like there could have been a lot better. I mean, people on Reddit, they know what kind of questions to ask. I feel like there could have been a lot more information being said. So maybe this is another Kim. Because, I think that anybody could have gotten those questions. I think I could have made those up. Yeah, between the toes. People will do that. Or between your fingers. So that you can't, She's clean now. It took her years to get clean, and it was terrible watching her. It was terrible watching her family, because her family was incredible. I mean, they wanted to do anything they could do to save her too. They weren't the type of family that was gonna just, just not saying, not do anything to sit by. It says, oh, I got an email. From Margaret. Is Margaret in here? I just hit my elbow on the side of the desk. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I was going to say too, Michelle. You're so right. Heroin nowadays laced with fentanyl is more dangerous than ever. That's why I was thinking, I was hoping maybe he would have had his own little accident before he went and maybe killed 4 people allegedly. But I think he did. I think that he's on the fast track to getting there. Oh no, Margot. That's so sad. I'm so sorry that you lost your husband. Heroin is also an opioid. Yep. Yeah. So, because I was on fentanyl after my car accident, but it didn't work for me. Thank God. I was on a patch, and you'd have to put it on for 3 days, and then you take it off, I think, and then you put another one on, or maybe you leave it off for a couple of days, but it was the worst. I didn't like it. But but if you can recover from being on drugs or alcohol, oh my Lord, you can do anything. You're a hero. You can literally do it all. My father was an alcoholic, and he got help for it, but then it still ended up taking him in the end, kind of, So anybody that can do that is congrats. I feel like we've all overcome some sort of crazy stuff that was meant to put us down and not for us not to get back up, and we get back up. And Therese said, as a surgery nurse, I saw many patients with addiction. They took a lot of anesthesia to be put to sleep for surgery. The body gets to where it takes more meds to work. You're exactly right. And they have to do that. They had to do that with me, not because I was addicted to any medication, but even my medication for the sedative they give you to calm you, they always have to give me a little extra on the pain meds. They might just do it because they love me. Oh, congratulations. That's awesome. Awesome. Alcohol is just as hard as drugs. And I didn't realize it until until my dad, my father, it was terrible to see someone that you love like that. But that, if If you can beat it, it's the best feeling in the world. And so that feeling of waking up and being like, I don't have to figure out how I'm getting my next fix. That to me would be a beautiful day for someone. You know what I mean? Because I know I've seen it. I've seen a lot of addictions and stuff. The fentanyl epidemic is very, very scary. You're very right, Robin's Nest. It's very, very prevalent in my old town. You'll see zombies just walking down the street. It's bad. It's just like, they're not even people anymore. So let's see, what was I? Oh yeah. So, I was trying to see how much it was. So it says, if you were to look at about 0.1 gram of heroin bought on the streets, it would probably range from $15 to $20 in most states. The cost of a gram, because like, what 0.1 gram? I don't even know how much that is, but that doesn't sound like that's going to do much. Is 70 to upwards of over 800. Wowza. If you are a very heavy user of heroin, your habit could cost you anywhere from 150 to 200 per day based on most estimates. But compared to pills, that is very unexpected and inexpensive. When everybody could go down to Florida and get, the pills, when the pill mills were happening, everybody was having fun then. Remember early 2000s, mid 2000s, early 2000s? Everybody was having a good old time getting high, bringing their drugs back to all these like different states, passing them out. And then that's when we had this huge epidemic happen. And then everybody got cut off their medications. And then all these rehab centers got filled. And it's been terrible ever since. I feel like it's just been really bad. I feel bad. I know that it's extremely easy to get addicted to things. I have an addictive personality, you would say, 1,000%. So I try to stay away from everything. I don't drink. Going on 12 years now. That's awesome. I don't drink just because I don't know. I don't like the way it really tastes anymore. Teresa said, Tanya, you had a big road of getting yourself out back together. You were in a position of injury and needing many procedures to get you to where you are now. You're a warrior. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Oh, I had lots of surgeries. If anyone is ever having a surgery, they're having a surgery done and they're like, they need some advice. I'm your girl. Actually, I could be your girl for a lot of things. And you guys will have to go back if you guys are ever bored and you're just chilling on YouTube and you want to see your girl over here. Back when I first started YouTube, I do have a lot of trauma videos up, like in the beginning, but I'm going to do a 10-year one. I'm going to try to do one, at least do a TikTok or a short one, but I'm going to do something for the 10-year. Yeah. Michael Jackson was. I was thinking about that not too long ago, actually, because I just had surgery in October. And if you were here for that, go check out some of them old videos. I got my eye patch on, rocking the eye patch. I used to have so many different backdrops, like over like my time. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of funny to watch all the old videos of me because I was just simple. I didn't have a group. I didn't do lives and stuff then. Mel said, I've always needed to be in control. Alcohol made me out of control. Tried opioids and loved it. Mental health leads to addiction. You are so right. They put me on Dilaudid when I went into the hospital after my car accident, and I had a catheter. I could have lived there for the rest of my life. I could have lived out my days in that bed. And I'd have been okay because, they had me on, that was like the best medication ever. I literally would just hit a button and I'd fall asleep for like a few minutes. I'd wake up, little groggy, hit the button again, go back to sleep. But then they said, if you want to leave Tanya, and I was like, what do you mean? They're like, then you have to get off of, you have to get off the medication. You have to get onto a different pain medication and stuff. So I had to work really hard to work down off of these different tiers of medication, it went from the Dilaudid to the oxycodone to what was it, Percocet. Then I went back up to the harder stuff, the fentanyl. But yes, I wish psychiatrists to get people hooked on benzodiazepines would be held accountable and not be able to rip those patients off their meds. Yeah, they should. They should not be able to rip them off their meds. Someone did that to me. One doctor did that to me right before the pandemic. That was the last time I slept right. It was back October of 2019, right before the pandemic was the last time I slept good. And I only took half of the prescription I was prescribed. I only took half the dosage. And my doctor said, I'm never going to take you off your medication. You're doing great, Tanya. We wouldn't do that to you. And I went over there to have her just manage them. And the first thing she did was rip me off 3 of them. I said, well, okay now. Yeah, no, Florida does have some tough laws down there now. Yeah, no, they do. Oh, they just got busted there. Wow. It's probably, man, Kim's probably going to be loving this channel. She needs to get in here. She could probably meet some doctors or something. Get her some scripts. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play the Nancy Grace podcast here for y'all. And this is the search warrant and contents of murder suspect Bryan Kohberger revealed. Newly released documents outline the police were looking for in Bryan Kohberger's apartment and what was found. The search warrant affidavit was initially sealed, but was unsealed by a Washington state judge. According to court documents, investigators found a collection of dark red spotting on an item inside a Kohberger Steptoe Village apartment, along with a pillow with a reddish/brown stain on it. Strands of hair, human as well as a possible animal strand, were found. A glove, computer, and mattress covers were also removed. What wasn't found was a knife, the murder weapon. And then she has a panel of people joining her today. Of course, I'm not on the panel. I don't know why. My invitation must be in the mail. Must have got lost. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you guys. And then we'll talk through, through this as well. So this is like her first half, and then she did another one. So we'll watch that one tomorrow. And let me turn the volume down to make sure it doesn't hurt your ears too much.
Free pickup.
Also, before we get started, if you guys could just, throw that thumbs up, just smash the like button for your girl. It does get, more people into the chat, into the algorithm. I would really, really appreciate it so much. I do appreciate you guys all being here with me today. And just, spending a little bit of your Sunday with me. I know here it's snowy, so it's a great day to talk true crime and just be nice and warm and toasty, so. And if anyone sees Nicole Marie, I haven't seen her talk for a while, so I know she's probably not having that baby, but we like to check up on her. Happy Sunday, Kelly Reeves. Oh, you got to walk the doggy gang. Okay, well, catch us on replay, #replay. That way I know you watched it and you got all the information. And we'll be back on tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. for sure, maybe tonight, but tomorrow for sure.
You get the same great deals as you'd get in store, so you can save when
we have the return. Every time a search warrant is executed in the U.S. anyway, there has to be what is called a return. On that return, you see what was actually seized during the search warrant. It's really like a laundry list of everything taken from the home. Now, as all you legal eagles know, the judge had sealed the search warrant, the probable cause supporting the search warrant, and the return for Bryan Kohberger's apartment there at Steptoe Village in Pullman, Washington. Guys, what do we know about that return? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Fox Nation and Sirius XM 111. Take a listen to this.
The highly anticipated warrants contain new details about what investigators were looking for and what they found. It also alleges that Kohberger pre-planned the ambush and had studied other murders and how to avoid detection as part of his preparations. An affidavit seeking the search warrant reads, quote, "These murders appear to have been planned rather than a crime that happened in a moment of conflict," unquote. Because the victim's home contained a significant amount of blood, spatter, and cast-off, investigators told the court they believed they would find some of that evidence transferred to Kohberger's apartment. Once inside his apartment, police found what they were looking for.
In the search warrant, officers say, based on the locations of the suspect vehicle and the suspect's phone immediately following the murders, it is probable that Kohberger went home after the killings. And it is likely that he still had blood or other trace evidence on his person, including skin cells or hair from the victims or from Kaylee Gonsalves's dog.
You are hearing our friends at Crime Online and CBS News with me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. But I can tell you this much, a few words in my mind sum it all up. A stained pillow and a glove. Straight out to Laura Engel joining us, senior correspondent, Fox News Channel. Laura, tell me everything.
As you mentioned, finally, we are getting this glimpse of what police were looking for. That's listed in this unsealed search warrant, and what they found, the list of items that investigators seized in the search of suspect Bryan Kohberger's Washington State apartment include 15 items. It was on the last page of the search warrant that we got yesterday. This search warrant was about 49 pages long, and when you go through the list, you mentioned the glove, one nitrate type black glove, a Walmart receipt with one Dickies tag. Remember, the suspect described by Dylan, the surviving roommate, said she saw somebody dressed head to toe in dark clothing. Dickies has dark clothing, we know that. 2 Marshall's receipts, dust container from a vacuum, 8 possible hairs. One of those hairs is a possible animal hair strand. As we know, Kaylee Gonsalves, the victim, one of the victims, Murphy, her dog, was in the home at the time. A computer tower, and a collection of dark red spots without testing. Now, this stuff hasn't been tested, so that's the other part that we're waiting for, right? Once they test those hair strands, once they test these dark red stains, both on this uncased pillow and the bottom of a mattress cover that was packaged and labeled, put in a chain of custody, everything labeled with evidence. But look, we saw, right, all that video of the investigators coming out of Bryan Kohberger's apartment in Washington State, tubs and tubs, boxes and boxes and bags. So this list that has those 15 items is most likely just a very small sample of what they recovered, but it is at least what they told us that they have to substantiate the search warrant. And then also within the search warrant was a list of what they were looking for. It's a long list, but the highlights include they were looking for blood, human tissue, knives, sheaths, sharp tools, daggers, swords, and anything that had sales receipts of those items. And specifically also any images, digital or on paper, of the victims and or the house at 1122 King Road, looking for dark clothing and looking for data compilations. And of course, you know, as we heard there in that report, they also say in this search warrant, they allege that Kohberger pre-planned the ambush rather than this happening in a moment of conflict. And also noted that he had studied other murders and how to avoid detection as part of this preparation.
And remember, a search warrant has to be very specific. You can't have a judge sign a warrant where the cop says, well, we just want to go fish around, see if we can find anything.
I think with the dog hair, because I saw you guys in the chat, I think they can just base it off of like the texture, the like hair shaft. Different breeds are going to have like different colors in the shaft, you know. With Murphy being like a brown dog, light brown, he may even had some little bit of white maybe in there or something. So maybe half the hair shaft on Murphy, you never know. Like for instance, could be like whiter, like or lighter than, you know, the upper half. So they would be able to be like, okay, matched it. Like, and when they match it, they could say, okay, this strand both has, you know, coloring, you know, of light color to like, you know, 2 inches, and then 3 inches and longer is, you know, dark tan or something. I'm trying to think of like, it's kind of like that, like when you get your hair colored. If you're thinking of like when you get your hair colored, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. maybe they'll be able to like, match it up like that. I'm really hoping that it's Murphy's hair and he comes through because, it's Murphy.
That is why you're hearing Laura Ingle clearly detail what cops say they're interested in, what they hope to find specifically. A judge will never sign off on basically a fishing expedition where you have no idea what you're looking for. Guys, take a listen to our friend Dave Mack.
In requesting the search warrant, it was pointed out that, quote, the King Road residence contained a significant amount of blood from the victims, including spatter and cast-off, a blood-stained pattern resulting from blood drops released from an object due to its motion, making it likely that this evidence was transferred to Kohberger's person, clothing, or shoes. Based on the locations of the suspect vehicle and the 8458 phone immediately following the murders, it is probable that Kohberger went home to his residence at 1630 Northeast Valley Road. At that time, it is likely that he still had blood or other trace evidence on his person, clothes, or shoes, including skin cells or hair from the victims or from Gonzalez's dog.
Sid here in the studio with me went along on our expedition where we went from the crime scene there on King Road on the circuitous route. And Cheryl McCollum, man, I wish she'd been in the SUV with us. There were times, it takes them an hour and 10 minutes to get home that way, or it took us that long. Dark, like where you and I grew up in the country, no street lights, pitch dark. Couldn't see the road. A lot of the road was dirt or gravel, so bumpy that it would make everybody in the SUV shake up and down. That's so bumpy. He took that route for a reason, what should have been a 10-minute drive. That is why what's in that car is so significant. But I was thinking about, as Dave Mack read from the warrant, all the spatter at the scene, the cast-off, a blood-stain pattern resulting from blood drops released from an object due to its motion. In other words, the stabbing motion and the pullback of the knife for another stab, making it likely this evidence was transferred to Kohberger's person, clothing, or shoes. And that based on what they could tell from his cell phone, he then gets into that white Elantra and sets off for the long drive that Sydney and I made just the other night.
Nancy, that cast off is not only going to land on his clothing, it's going to land on his face. It's going to land in his hair, on his arms, if his hands had the nitrate gloves, so to speak, but his wrist and his arms. It is going to be so easy for that to transfer when he, pulls his clothing off, when he lays on the bed from exhaustion, whatever. All of those things are just this natural progression of how the Lockhart principle we talk about all the time, from one scene to another, it is transferred. You can't go in a scene or leave a scene without taking something and leaving something.
You are hearing Cheryl McCollum, forensic expert, founder of the Cold Case Research Institute. You can find her at coldcasecrimes.org. And very important, she is a forensics expert, still working the force. Also with me, Giovanni Masucci, Senior Digital Forensic Examiner, 35 years of experience. Giovanni, follow up with Cheryl. What do you think of what she said?
He's absolutely right on that as far as trace evidence, blood splatter, and we're bringing something into the site and onto the site with you. I totally concur on that.
You know what's interesting to Giovanni and Cheryl, a lot of times perps and crime scene techs, not you two, of course, miss blood high up on the wall or on the ceiling. Forget to look up. Now, what a tragedy that would have been, for instance, in the Ted Bundy case, because the ceiling blood spatter showed the exact trajectory of the blood from the bludgeoning of the girls. Exactly. They could even get a pretty good idea, if not the exact idea, of the amount of force Bundy used when he hit his victims based on the degree of blood and the way it spattered on the ceiling. What about that, Cheryl?
Yeah, not only does it show the force, but for me, when I first walk into a scene like that, I can tell by the number of cast-offs that are on the wall and the ceiling how many times that victim was stabbed. So if I've got 4 cast-off patterns, the victim was stabbed at least 5 times, because the first time the knife was clean.
First time, then you pull the knife back, stab again, back, stab again, back, stab again. That's what she's talking about. So why use nitrate gloves as opposed to rubber gloves or plastic gloves? Nitrate waterproof, greaseproof, oil-proof, and most importantly, chemically resistant.
Now, where they're tear-proof, that's the most important thing.
That's right. Very good point. I'm hearing the voice of Dale Carson, high-profile lawyer out of Jacksonville and former Fed with the FBI. Jump in. Go ahead.
You know, talking about Magic Cheryl, I will just tell you, you can also determine the dominant hand of the striker often and the height of the striker. So when that first came out back in the 1980s, it was classified FBI material. We were told not to disclose that technique to anyone, and now it's become pretty much mainstream.
And if you could quickly, if there is a way to do it quickly, explain how you determine the height of the perp based on these markings.
Well, it's all coming from arm length. You just draw a circle from one point to a swing with your shoulder and your arm extended, and you go back to a common point. That's the shoulder socket. And then you can guess at the height of the individual when you do those sort of things. Were they standing? Were they sitting? There are all sorts of technical abilities that they have with that effort now that were just unheard of 40 years ago.
Yeah, you're right. Guys, take a listen to more from Dave Mack.
Court documents released by Whitman County show what evidence investigators were looking for when they searched Kohberger's residence and his office. They were searching for any blood, bodily fluid, or skin cells. As for weapons, they searched for any knives, sheaths, or other sharp tools. They also searched for any digital or paper images of the victims or the King Road house. They looked for clothing, including but not limited to dark shirts, dark pants, masks, or shoes with a diamond pattern sole. Investigators also sought any digital evidence linking him to the victims, the King Road house, or any data compilations showing an interest in murder.
At Kroger, no matter where you order free pickup, you get the same great deals as you'd get in store. So you can save when you order during
his
band
court
practice
date, right,
or
or
at
not
the
court
dog
date,
park
but,
or wherever.
his,
Start your cart with the
his
Kroger app
visitation
and
log
save
right now,
from
because
wherever
I do
today.
believe
Kroger,
that they were
fresh
going
for
to
everyone.
allow like
$35
over
order
the,
minimum. Restrictions may apply.
like
Subject
over
to availability.
Save
like
more
Zoom
on
type of
natural and
stuff
organic items. Just clip
is
your
what
digital
I've
coupons on
heard.
our app and
So
use them
I'm
up to 5
going to
times in one
try to
transaction with your
see,
card.
if I could
Kroger,
figure that out, but,
fresh for everyone.
But like Teresa said, she said last time she heard if anyone
Crime Stories with
let me
Nancy
know,
Grace.
and I'll write and I'll try to see if they'll
You know,
visit with me
it's so
over
dense, Laura Engel. I mean, I've had to
Can't really
read this
fly all the way to
several
Idaho.
times, and I remember in law
Far.
school, Laura, this is reminding me of that.
Right.
I came from being a Shakespearean literature major, and you know, I'd read a sentence in a U.S. Supreme Court sentence, Laura Engel.
Fresh for everyone.
Crime Stories with Nancy Grace.
You know, it's so dense, Laura Engel. I mean, I've had to read this several times, and I remember in law school, Laura, this is reminding me of that.
Right.
I came from being a Shakespearean literature major, and you know, I'd read a sentence in a U.S. Supreme Court decision that was almost a whole paragraph,
Right.
and I would actually have to dissect the sentence. And when I look back at my criminal law book, which is huge and thick, there are watermarks on so many pages because I'd have to study so much. I would even study in the bathtub, just reading constantly. And finally, one time I'm like, okay, this is going too far. I studied on the back row of church one night. I'm like, okay, this has got to stop. Something is wrong about this. I don't know what it is. But my point is, Did you just hear Dave Mack reading that? I mean, it's just so chock full of so much evidence. Listen, I mean, legal aspects. Investigators also sought digital evidence linking him to the victims.
Right.
Data compilations showing an interest in murder, digital or paper images of the victims or the King Road house, clothing, including but not limited to dark shirts, dark pants, mask, or shoes with a diamond pattern sole to hopefully match back up to the diamond pattern sole mark in the home. Every sentence here is just an explosion of information, Laura Ingle.
That's right. And when you go through that list of what they were looking for, you mentioned the data compilations and the plan. They were looking for any data compilations of the planning of murder, but also specifically murder, violent assault, stabbing, and or cutting of people. And they were looking for an example of ledgers, papers, lists, books, notes, letters, calendars, address books, contact lists, diaries, tapes, photographs, videos, emails, text messages. They were looking for cell phones.
That's a
they were
lot.
looking for passwords, phrases, codes, patterns, fingerprints, user names to operate any of those devices. They wanted the devices. They wanted to see if he had written down any of the passwords so they could get into those electronics. And you're right. It is very dense. They were very specific. And when you think about how a search warrant is executed, I was speaking to former NYPD officers yesterday. I said, tell me how you go in. He said, well, we get the warrant. We have the list. Then you're methodical going room by room. You've got the person who's actually looking for the items on the list. Then you've got the other police officer next to you recording how it's going down. So they're watching it. They're recording it. They are writing their own log of how they're obtaining this evidence and information. We've talked about the chain of command, how they're sealing it up, how they put their initials on it. There is a lot more that we are going to learn. This is the search warrant of his apartment. We've learned they did not find much, or if anything, in his office. We've got to get to the search warrant of the car. That will hopefully be revealed soon. But this list of the apartment, you're right, it is very dense, and it tells us how meticulous they were. And you look at the timestamp on page 1, filed January 3rd. Remember what we were doing?
Yeah.
The arrest had just happened. They had quickly put together this list of exactly what they wanted to find in this apartment, and they found a good amount.
What I want to know is he going to come back? Did he leave? Is the house abandoned, the apartment abandoned, which is another indicia of guilt because of the flight issue? And is he coming back? I mean, you can look, is there food in the refrigerator? All those kinds of things will give you an idea of whether he intended to come back.
Dale Carson, Dale Carson, you know, as I always say, when you don't know a horse, look at his track record. He went straight back to school as if nothing had changed. He participated in classes. He texted his neighbor that I talked to, "Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family."
Right.
Acted as if nothing was wrong. So I would venture to extrapolate he was coming back as if nothing had happened. Also with us, Chris McDonough, director of the Cold Case Foundation, former homicide detective, worked over 300 homicides, host of The Interview Room on YouTube. Chris, one thing I always like to do during searches or when I would visit a crime scene is just sit down. There's nothing to sit on. Just stand there quietly and think, if I wanted to hide something in this room, where would I hide it? And just sit there while everybody else is going cray on everything, taking pictures and measurements and finding stuff, to just sit and think calmly about everything you might miss. What about it, Chris?
Homicide 101, Nancy. Where you take in each wall independently. And if we look at this return here, yesterday we talked about there's going to be a huge push for digital footprint. We're starting to see that today. But what we're missing here is there are 6 locations where these individual hairs were discovered. In one location, there were 8 of them. And then in the others, there was an animal hair, another possible hair, item 8, item 9, item 10, item 11. These are 6 locations where these hairs were discovered, and they were transferred from something or somebody, either the crime scene, as Cheryl has talked about, the suspect, or the victims. But somebody caught each of these hairs independently. The other thing that we see is very interesting here are the receipts, items number 2 and 3, where this guy had gone out, it appears, and purchased items, pre-planning. Something's going on here with that. And we see a new discovery, I think it's on page 18, where he was caught on video at a chef store, at least passing a chef store near the coffee area, where after the homicides, he drove out there. So those minutia details are starting to flow, just as you've predicted, and then we've talked about here on your show.
Sydney, do you remember when we were out in Idaho and a woman came up to us and she was talking about his route back home and that he would have crossed over, was it the Red Bridge?
Red Wolf Bridge, maybe?
Yeah, that was it. Red Wolf Bridge. That's it. And she was talking about how he had passed a chef store and a coffee shop.
That was the grocery store trip.
Exactly. And I'm just thinking back about that chef store and what type of cutlery and knives were sold there. Hey, Chris McDonough, don't worry, Bethany, I'm coming right to you. Chris McDonough, speaking of a black glove, Sydney just reminded me of this. A black glove, I think, that was found.
Yes, ma'am.
What about the one black glove that you found, that you spotted and pointed it out to a cop at the scene, at the crime scene?
It's certainly going to be interesting. I couldn't tell what specific makeup the glove was because it had snow and looked like some leaves over it. You could definitely see the fingertips, but I could not tell if it was consistent with the type of materials that they have listed in this return search warrant affidavit. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Dr. Bethany Marshall with us, high-profile psychoanalyst joining us out of L.A. She's at drbethanymarshall.com, and she is the star of a hit series on Netflix, Bling Empire.
Just wanted to interrupt Nancy for a good reason, because I wanted to check some of the chat, but I also wanted to tell you guys that remember when we wrote the celebrity cutout for Nancy Grace? I want to get a celebrity cutout of her. So I wrote that company and I said we needed it in our life. They wrote me back, but I can't, for some reason, I can't read the message. But it says, like, I can read some of it. It says, "Hello, thank you for getting in touch. I have found some images." And so she tried to send me the images, and I think she wants me to pick an image that I would like, but the images didn't come through. So I told her I didn't get them, so I'll keep my eye out so that we literally can, like, get our Nancy cut out. Also, what else did I want to tell you guys when I was gonna say something else too. I think it was, so someone asked if I would visit Bryan Kohberger. I'm in true crime, and so I would love to know what he has to say. If he would talk to me, keep him talking, get him talking. So there is actually a way that you can do it. So I already signed up for it. It's this place called Getting Out. Let me see if you can, okay, so right here, what services are available at Latah County. I'll just show you this real quick, and then we'll get back to Nancy. But these are the available, services. So I don't know. But I signed up for video visits from home, because I'm at home. I don't know. And then it sent me to another page to fill out some information. And then it sent me an email. And now I'm over here, and I'm just going to I'm going to agree to everything. But I don't want to dox myself. So in case I hit the submit and it brings up my name and address and all that, I'll wait. But But yeah, why not, you know? Like, let's see. Oh, you guys talking about the glove? Yeah, someone, we talked about that yesterday, I think it was, or day before. Because I pulled it up just to see if it was the right one. Wood Fairy said, I think the Dickies tag has more meaning than some realize. Early on, I saw a stranger in chat continuously, comment that the perp wore Dickies and it might not have been a coincidence. Well, that's what we were thinking, Wood Fairy. I had them pulled up earlier. I think I took the thing down, but we were thinking that they might have looked like something like these. Well, let me go back. Just go to images. But something like along like this line. Let me see if I missed anything else. It's hard to read the chat and then like I was typing away too. So, okay, I'm gonna put it back on Nancy.
Dr. Bethany, I want you to take a listen to our friends at KTVB, and I want to talk to you about the blood on Kohberger's pillow. Listen.
Investigators searched his apartment on December 30th, the same day he was arrested at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. According to that search warrant, investigators found and confiscated a number of things, including a synthetic rubber black glove, several possible hair strands, both human and dog, 2 cuttings from an uncased pillow with a reddish-brown stain, as well as 2 mattress covers packaged separately with multiple stains. Police also searched Kohberger's teaching office at Washington State University, but the records show they did not take anything.
In the search warrant, there was a mention of how items such as blood or hair could be transferred from the crime scene.
Oh, sorry, guys.
And end up back in his car or at his apartment.
Sorry, I wasn't sharing the screen with y'all. Sorry about that. I'll go back a little bit too. I mean, I know you guys could be listening to it, but sorry about that.
Possible hair strand his apartment on December 30th, the same day he was arrested at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. According to that search warrant, investigators found and confiscated a number of things, including a synthetic rubber black glove, several possible hair strands, both human and dog, 2 cuttings from an uncased pillow with a reddish-brown stain, as well as 2 mattress covers packaged separately with multiple stains. Police also searched Kohberger's teaching office at Washington State University, but the records show they did not take anything.
In the search warrant, there was a mention of how items such as blood or hair could be transferred from the crime scene to Kohberger and end up back in his car or at his apartment. Investigators located a possible animal hair strand. Now, remember, Kaylee Gonzalez's dog was at the home the night of the murders. They also found 3 possible hairs and a possible hair strand. They collected what could be blood, as there was a reddish-brown stain on an uncased pillow, as well as multiple stains on a top and bottom mattress cover.
Dr. Bethany, I've been thinking a lot about what we believe to be a blood stain on his pillow, Kohberger's pillow on his bed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember just a day or two ago, photos came out of Kohberger in court, and he had cuts all along his right jaw. And we were told it was from shaving. So if you want to believe the blood, the potential blood on his pillowcase was from shaving, that would mean he had to shave before he went to bed, which really doesn't make any sense, does it?
That makes no sense at all, Nancy. You know, this was a very bloody crime scene, and obviously the victim's supposed to have fought back. And even though it was a surprise attack, it was a crime of opportunity. He attacked them in their sleep. You know, instinctually they were reactive, and it could be that even in the frenzy, he cut himself with his own knife. It's a little scary to speak up in front of this panel of crime scene investigators, but I have a different way of looking at this as a mental health expert, and that is through the lens of Kohberger's fantasy life. We're looking at a thin slice of history here, the night of the crime, the months preceding, the week or two after the crime. But I know that serial killers in the making have prolific fantasy lives. They eat, sleep, breathe homicide. That's all they think about. So his apartment is likely going to be organized around his fantasy life, just like a kid who's obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons is going to have that kind of equipment all over their room. Or an alcoholic is going to have, tequila bottles all over the apartment. What does a serial killer do in the making? If indeed my theory is correct that he was a serial killer in the making, he botched his first crime. We know that the reason they strike and then they go underground for months at a time before they strike again is they can feed off of their own fantasy life. And that means that digital imprint, what he was looking at online, what he was reading, maybe even a pattern of semen around the household as he's looking at different images and using it to fuel sadistic sexual fantasies, that is a dark underground layer that I don't know if crime scene investigators look at, but I'm sure that leaves an imprint too.
I was just thinking about what you said, Dr. Bethany, and I remember when I was out doing Dancing with the Stars, I managed to wiggle into a couple of celebrities' homes. They had trophies everywhere, pictures of themselves and fancy artwork, and which was beautiful, and weird sculptures that I didn't know what they were. Then at our home, everything is covered in pictures of the twins and our family, and tacky little tchotchke from wherever we've visited,
That's right.
Nancy, in the Bundy case, he hand drew pictures of himself in various costumes with broken arms or arms in a sling. And he was very good at that. And those were drawn prior to the attacks. And so what Dr. Bethany is saying is entirely accurate. Those individuals live in a world that most of us cannot understand because they are driven by a powerful biologic urge. So you add that to your fantasy, and you've got somebody who's a real animal.
And Cheryl McCollum with me. Oh, I was just coming to you. Oh, and Laura, I want to circle back with you about the cutlery. Don't let me forget Laura Engel. You're the ringmaster today. Cheryl McCollum, remember in the district attorney's office what my office looked like on the inside?
Yes.
There were two very old, what were they, Monet prints. And then everything else, I remember there was a sawed-off shotgun from a crime. It's like that big. There was a huge blow-up that I'd used for a jury. Don't touch the Alram. This is a Roby from my dyslexic bank robber, who then, when he did his writing sample, he also did the writing sample with the letters reversed. So that did not take a handwriting expert to win that jury trial. So I was lucky about his handwriting, and just all sorts of weird, bizarre memorabilia, things that had come from cases years back that had already gone up and affirmed on appeal. Do you remember that? I was thinking about what Bethany said, and I find that really insightful.
Right. And it's something we talked about weeks ago when we used the analogy of somebody planning a wedding. It's all they can think about. All they can look at are dresses and cakes and flowers and venues. They can't help themselves and they can't hide it. And that's why I thought he would have maps on the wall and photographs, and he would have this stuff lay out because this is what he wants. I've said multiple times, it's porn to him. He can't get enough of it, whether it's Dr. Ramsden's class, whether it's something online he's researching, whether it's something he's putting together at home and he's putting on the clothes and practicing. I'm telling you, he has not hidden this in any way possible. And I want to say again, remember that Dr. Ramsden did not make him. He went because of what he already was.
Hey, Cheryl, I just want to remind you, do you remember where that sawed-off shotgun came from that I had in my office? A guy convicted on 2 rapes goes to the penitentiary on rape, does 7 years. He gets out, and what does he do? He gets a sawed-off shotgun. As soon as he leaves the jail flags down a lady like he needs help with a car, and he kidnaps her and rapes her. Day one, the day he got out of jail.
Within hours.
Yes, within hours.
Hey, Nancy.
Yes, jump in. I'm sorry, Laura Engel. Please blame it on Bethany Marshall again. Go ahead, Beth.
Okay, BTK killer, didn't he have like a red latex outfit, himself sitting on a chair, all bound up? He had all these pictures of himself in various BDSM styles of dress, and he would look at these pictures. So it wasn't just the blood, the crime, it was all these pictures he left behind, and including on the disc that he sent to the pastor of the church. There's some credible research that pedophiles, when they're discharged, when they're released from jail, are more primed to offend because they've been living in their fantasy world while they're in prison. And it's sort of a sexualized fantasy world. So it actually increases their propensity to go out and look at victims.
I've got to tell you something, Dr. Bethany. You have no idea what's happening while you're talking. Cheryl, this is a yes, no. Do you remember the beautiful court reporter that was murdered in the courthouse shootings?
Of course, Julie.
And then my other favorite court reporter, Miss Donna Keeble. I was looking at Sydney here in the studio whenever Dr. Bethany Marshall starts talking and other times. And I'll never forget how Donna Keeble and Julie, as evidence would come out during testimony, they would make all sorts of faces. And
Yes.
And the jury would be looking at them too. And like, if the defendant would get up and say some BS on the stand, they'd roll their eyes. And the jury would be looking right at them. And Bethany Marshall said, BTK in his red latex suit. I wish you could have seen. I thought her head was going to just fly off. But it reminded me of my court reporters.
Okay, so I think I found them. Like, I have to wait for this site to like verify my phone number or something, it said. But it let me go back to the site. So let me show you. This is, I've never seen anything like this before. So share this tab. So I looked him up. I like signed up for it, looked him up, and it says, visit now, no scheduling needed. But I don't have any money on the books. I think I have to pay to like do it. But then you can book an online visit. I wonder which one I should press. Like, I wanted to see which one. I'm going to do this one. Okay. So you can schedule up to 14 days in advance. This would be tomorrow. Let's just see. I'm just going to see. Oh, wow. That was quick. Okay. Go back. The time slots in gray are unavailable. You would think this would be all booked up, wouldn't you think? Like, I mean, I don't usually sleuth, but I was like, I'm sleuthing, and I got on here, and I found this stuff, so... let me go back a little bit more. Let me see. So, like, this is the page that I went to. And you can, like, you can go to visits. You can make the deposit. And then, let's see. I got here. And then you can just, like, find and add contacts. So, like, schedule, like, a visit. And so I just went to Idaho. Like, I'll show you how I did it real quick. Because we might just have to schedule it and see if we can see what happens. Okay. If I can find Idaho, geesh. And then Latah County. And then, yeah, Bryan Kohberger. And there he is. And then, that's what came up. So I wonder... Oh, thank you. Thank you, Frisco Chick. That's so sweet. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Bad idea, Tanya, Isabel said. I know. I'm like, how can that be so fast? So Vivian said, wait, we can video chat inmates who are accused of quadruple murder. That's what I'm wondering. Like, I've never seen this before. But you know how okay, and the this is a little different, but like remember the Casey Anthony case when her parents would go visit her and they would talk to her through the online, it was like through a TV. They were never allowed to like sit together. I'm wondering, but then you would think I could call the jail and verify. Yeah, I might have to do that. That's just crazy. I might have to just schedule one. But yeah, I wanted to show you that. I guess we could add him. We add him. This person or facility may block this contact. Oh, well, let's see. Oh, contact added. Okay, well, they didn't block it. Be careful. I know. I feel like I'm doing something really bad, guys. I really do. I'm like, am I going to get like in trouble? But yeah, so we'll have to look into this because this is weird. And the account, it's called Getting Out, and it has like a customer phone number and everything. I mean, I know like anyone can make up a fake site, but because then it shows you like this, like down here, it'll show you what you can do. I don't know. We'll have to look into that. Yeah, no, I won't. I'm going to have, Vincent's probably already on the other side. He's probably on the other side seeing if this is legit for me, hopefully. And then I'll let you guys know later or on tomorrow's live. Because, I won't make a deposit. I'm not going to put no money on no one's books until I can see something. But, Raw Business, thank you so much for the BK meet and greet. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. We definitely got to get him on the phone. If we can get him on the phone, I'm sure he would talk. He seems like he's going to be a talker if his lawyer would let him. But then what about the gag order? Because the families can't talk, so he can't probably talk, right? I mean, shit. There's probably no gag order on him then. They're probably the cops would probably be thankful. They would probably be like, "Oh my gosh, can you please take him and get him to confess for anything?" What do they charge? They charge, let me see. So it's down here and it says prepaid calls within Idaho. So I'm not that. So that's 21 cents a minute. We would want to do live person assistant prepaid. No, it just goes anywhere from $5.95 to 21. It's like 21 cents a minute. Collect calls within Idaho. Prepaid calls between two states. Collect calls between two states, 21 cents a minute. So, yeah. I would just be like, talk fast, buddy. I'll be like, I'm going to give you a bunch of questions. I want to see his teeth. Oh, you can email them on JPay. Oh, maybe I have to write that down because I haven't like had to deal with any of this stuff for a long time. But my friends, it should be her husband. They've been together like 15 years. They got like 15 kids together. No, they only have 3. But I know that he works for like the SWAT kind of deal, like that. Like inside prisons, that the people that go in for raids, he works for that kind of branch. So maybe I'll have to ask her a couple questions about this kind of stuff. But yeah, okay. So I'll get back to Nancy Grace podcast and then I'll figure that out before tomorrow's live. See if it's legit or not, at least.
At Kroger, no matter where you order free pickup, you get
Crime Stories with Nancy Grace.
Okay, Laura Engel. Don't anybody say a word while Engel is talking. Hit me, Laura.
2 things here. Well, we had our guest mention the U.S. Chef store that was part of the route. It was along the route on the way home. So obviously he didn't go there that day if he has ever been to the store. But when you go to that website, the U.S. Chef store that's located in Clarkston, Washington, next to that Kate's Cup of Joe place, you look at the things that you can buy there. There are many fixed blade knives that you can buy. We've been talking about the K-Bar. We've been talking about military hunting stores. But when you go to that chef store website, you do see that there are the dynamic chef's knife, 10 inches long, the forged 8-inch knife. These are huge knives.
But would they have a hilt? Look at the photos for me, Laura Ingle, because there's something about the bodies. Giovanni Masucci, senior forensic examiner, 35 years in the business. They came out at the get-go and said, and I'm wondering if this is because of the marks left on the bodies, that they believe the victims were murdered with a military-style type knife, fixed blade, which would suggest it had a hilt. And I don't recall any of our kitchen knives having a hilt, but I am not a knife expert. I can't claim that. What about it, Giovanni?
Because of the way that that type of blade is made, it leaves a type of indentation on the body. So they're looking at that as well, and what can come from the blood splatter as well on it. But the way that the handle is made, the way that the blade is forged, gives it some kind of indication on the markings. And so that's how they're potentially able to determine between whether it being just a kitchen knife or a heavy grade knife or a military blade, or whether it was not fixed, if it wasn't a lock blade or military grade.
And Laura Ingle, I don't put a lot of store in. I've compared it to forensic dentistry because flesh, when you're analyzing bite marks on human flesh moves. So you can't really it's like trying to take a teeth mold for the orthodontist in Jell-O. You're not going to get a good print.
Right.
So I don't know that there really was a hilt.
We don't know, right? Because the item has not been discovered. But when you look at, we don't know if he went to this. I'm sure that investigators have gone into the U.S. Chef store.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll find out about that later. When you look at a chef's knife overview, you see that it has a blade and an edge and a heel and what's called a bolster. It's all just the anatomy of a chef's knife. Is it possible? Sure. Another thing I want to bring to your attention is I don't have this. I haven't talked to this person, but the Daily Mail is reporting that one of a girl that he went to school with, Bryan Kohberger, in 6th grade, the FBI has reportedly interviewed this lady, Kim Keneally, and she was his middle school crush. And the FBI reportedly has interviewed her because he developed a crush and began romantically pursuing her, and she rebuffed him. And we've heard that a lot of former classmates have been interviewed. These classmates are describing Kohberger as a chubby, awkward misfit. But what's important to note here is one of the former students, a third former classmate, noted in this article, says, it's interesting to me that the girls, and he was made fun of. Everybody here says that the popular girls, the cheerleader, literally tortured him. Girls started making fun of him in middle school. And then when he seemed to turn his life around in high school and he started boxing and lost weight, he was a totally different person. But they described him as someone with a short fuse, constantly trying to change his style and personality. And then this third former classmate says this: it's interesting to me that the girls he's accused of killing were nice looking and seemingly popular, much like the ones that made fun of him throughout his childhood.
Okay, I know right where to go with that. That's Dr. Bethany Marshall. Jump in, Bethany.
Well, what comes to mind is as I talked about so many times, stalkers, that they take like little bits and pieces of a connection. Maybe they just see an image of somebody or a high schooler walking down the hallway, and they fantasize an entire relationship with that person. And then because that person's not responding, that person may not even know that he existed. Then they get stuck in these profound feelings of rejection, which then give way. A crush on this teacher, Nancy. Isn't it kind of creepy that everyone knew about it? I mean, most high school and middle-aged boys have crushes here and there, but nobody knows about it. So it tells me how obsessional this guy was. And, the idea that girls, I read in one report, actually threw things at him, that's how much they didn't like him, means that his creepy, obsessional, stalkerish nature, it was kind of just exuding out of every pore. This wasn't a guy that was sort of hiding in plain sight, looked normal, and he just snapped and nobody knew about it. there were clues all the way leading up here. So we're going to know so much more as this trial gets underway.
Del Carson, final thought?
Well, I think they've done a really good job of doing that search warrant. They'll find much more evidence than was listed on that return.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to learn that hair is connected with something connected with a crime scene.
And to you, Giovanni Masucci, Senior Digital Forensic Examiner, what do you make of the computers and digital data they took from the apartment?
I was excited to see that. They wrote the search warrant excellent. I used to review search warrants for law enforcement and help them with the digital data to make sure they had it right, so they weren't going back to the judge 2 and 3 times, which the judge does not like. But Fire Stick, I was excited to see that because that can be jailbroken. And with a jailbroken Fire Stick, you can access anything you want on the internet, including social media. So there's potential evidence that they can pull from that. Also, the computer tower, oh my gosh. From, everybody was talking about, you expect to see at his apartment, pictures and so on. Well, guess what? You can have digital pictures on there. Mm-hmm. You can have, all this data of him collecting potential evidence on the four, because it so seemed that it was pre-planned, obviously. And so, in my opinion, the data that could have been collected on there, oh my gosh, unbelievable amounts of evidence, potential evidence they can find from that computer tower and both the Fire Stick.
Another thing I was just thinking about regarding photos and digital photos and what would be in the home. The neighbor told me when he glanced into Kohberger's apartment, it was very, very sparse. Okay, Chris McDonough, joining us from the Cold Case Foundation. Final thought.
I believe, Nancy, at this point, it's going to continue to emerge that this guy had many weird encounters with women over time, and probably many underlying fetishes will produce themselves. And that I still am going with the idea that he believed he was the deliverer of justice, and that as these women come forward and the digital evidence starts to present his personality a little bit deeper, it's not going to surprise me one iota that he had a contact point within that digital footprint with these 4 victims, at least one of them in that home. And that drove him to that home.
Cheryl McCollum.
I'm going to talk about the totality of this evidence. So when you look at the house where the crimes occurred, his apartment, his car, his digital footprint, his debit card where he made purchases and payments, the cell phone, not just pings and calls and texts, but people keep notes on their phone and photographs.
She just cut us off there. That was the end of the podcast. Well, thanks, Nancy. But I did like her panel today. And then I do have a longer one of hers also, so that might be where it starts, might be for round 2, part 2. Yes, Summer, I still can't get over those stools being placed by the door like that. I still feel like law enforcement wouldn't do that, place them there to keep the door shut. I feel like they use crime scene tape for things like that, but I don't know. Yeah, that was it. It was they just cut us off. I was like, what the heck? So that must be her part 2, because I know she has a part 2 for this, and we were going to watch that one in tomorrow's live. I was thinking about, that's what I was going to show you. Before I talk about the Murdoff. So I did find how, so that the website is real that I was on. I was like, how did I get on there? So basically I went over here to the Latah County, Idaho Detention Center. And then I brought up this page right here on how to have an inmate telephone services and what they entail. And that's when I got into this gettingout.com link. That's where I went, over here. But it says collect calls. Inmate places a collect call that can accept and paid for by the party they're calling. So if he had my phone number, he could call collect me. Destination phone prepaid account. Prepaid call accounts are set up by the called party. the inmate's family or friends to eliminate the problem of collect call blocks. Oh. Inmates can place prepaid calls to cell phones, office phones, hospitals, and other commercial phone numbers that normally do not accept collect calls. When an inmate calls the end user, the call charges are deducted from the called party's prepaid account. This is a lot different than back in the day. They're doing a lot more. Inmate prepaid account. Friends and family add money to an inmate's prepaid account, following the inmate to call any unblocked number they choose. Call Tellmate toll free. I don't know what that is. But I think that's like the same place, but yeah. And then you can either it says, Tellmate allows a one-time 1-minute complimentary free call between the inmate and the called party when the number of the inmate is trying to call is blocked from receiving phone calls. Very interesting, guys. And then that's when I went over to this page, to Getting Out, the Getting Out page. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, but I could be like, we just talking as friends, boo. And I'm surprised this thing isn't like booked up like from here to high heaven. But I heard, like, I remember thinking about this when I was like looking at this, and I thought I heard Plunder or something saying that she was trying to get a visit with him. But I don't remember seeing her doing any of this. Yeah, so that's when you go here and then it'll like ask you if you want to visit. So I'll have to look into it. Yeah, it's very weird. Yeah, I saw that Wood Fairy. I did see that about the I didn't see about the golf clubs, but I mean, I guess she probably did say that. Because I do remember her saying that they did have possession of 2 of the vehicles. So you're right, Wood Fairy. But I remember them taking golf clubs out and putting them in the back of the when they were bringing all the kids' stuff out of the house to give back to the families, the golf clubs was included. So that's weird. Yeah, I like Plunder. She's got a soothing voice. Oh, okay. Yeah, they have some privileges over there in the jails. I don't know about over here. I've never seen any of that before. But yeah, so I'm gonna look into that, and yeah, see what we can do. Trying ain't gonna hurt nothing. I mean, I'm surprised JLR hasn't tried this yet. Tonight they are hosting, it looks like, so they're hosting the Murdaugh, they're like doing a documentary special on the Murdaugh trial. That's going to be starting tomorrow. And I was trying to see if there's anything else out there. Nope, doesn't look like it. So yeah, so Plunder was trying to get like a web visit. So that must be the same thing. I didn't see that like where she went, but this is the one that I'm seeing. So I'm wondering if this is the same one she was seeing. But when you go over online video visit, like here, none of these are grayed out. Like, because it says like grayed out times. And these are all like available. So that's the only thing. I don't know, maybe I'll just schedule it and we'll just see what happens. Yeah, I wonder who would get an interview with him. Like, I wonder who he would actually talk to. I wonder if he would be more inclined to talk to, hi Melanie, if he would be more inclined to talk to a male compared to a female. I'm not sure. Yeah, Plunder, she's good. I like her. She's sweet. I love people that are sweet. You know, you can tell. I feel like you can tell even if it's just on YouTube. You can tell somebody their intentions, and if they're like genuine or, you know, if they're not, you can kind of tell. Pick a time. Yeah, I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to do that. I have to see what I could do. Okay. So I might, Woodbury said if the golf clubs were removed by the chief, were Ethan's, how did the defense gain possession of them? Is this an chief, put it all back? Yeah, maybe. Because I don't know if I could find the clip, but they were Moscow, like Moscow releasing victims' items. And then we'll just go to like videos, maybe. So there's a couple videos, so let's see.
Earlier today, police also started removing some of the victims' personal belongings.
I was gonna see if I could like fast forward it a little.
Car may have.
This is at night.
And loaded up a U-Haul to return
back some of.
Wait.
West of the students' families, Moscow police collected their
There they
personal
are.
belongings from the home.
Now we need a picture of the party, of the, you know what I mean, inside the window to see if they're the same exact golf clubs. But I'm sure that they are the same exact golf clubs. Yeah, the belongings were removed before the arrest. These were given back. Tier Talk thinks they'll move the suspect to the prison. County won't be able to keep adjusting the jail's needs versus his security needs. That's true. That is true. They have a better, probably a lockdown system, which we actually showed that. They did that on News Nation. They showed you what his cell would look like and what he would be, you know, kind of where he would be housed and stuff. And it was because another inmate had come forward and said, hey, I've been there before. So yeah, there's the golf clubs. So, But I do remember her saying the cars and stuff. I just don't remember the golf clubs, but she could have definitely said that. You know, I probably just didn't hear that part. So I think that's all I have to show you guys. That's a pretty good little live though. Got some stuff seen. We got to see some things. The prisons may have the JPay, county jails don't. Okay. I thought county jails did too, but I'm not sure. Susan, I mean, you're asking Miss Isabel. I feel like Isabel should be my co-host sometimes. But I think, I'm just going to tell you what I think too. I think that it's definitely probably tampering with evidence. But if there was, those were in a room that was not suspected from, like, you know what I mean? If you think about it now, because now we know that, you know, Dylan wasn't in that bedroom. So with that being said, maybe they just assumed, you know, the killer, Bryan, didn't go in there. And they just was like, okay, we can just give this back to the families. I mean, that sounds stupid to me. I mean, it sounds stupid saying it, but yeah. Oh yeah, Delphi Murder can't do interviews either. Oh yeah. I'd like to talk to him too. I'd love to talk to him. I've been following that case since before I even did true crime. Oh, good. I love this live too. Well, I'm going to jump off of here. Don't forget to like the video. It does send it out to the algorithm. That way more people can enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are almost at 50. Oh my gosh, we're at 5,800. So we just went over 5,800. So next giveaway is at 10,000. That's going to take like no time at all because we rock around here. I will be back on. I might do a live tonight. I don't know. I'll decide in a little bit because the Murdoch trial is starting tomorrow and they are having a News Nation like special. So it can kind of get us all caught up. And, you know, I really do want to explore other cases because it's time. And we've done so many this year already, it feels like. Or, I mean, you know, since I started back in August. So. Maybe he bought the clubs at Walmart. He could have. I'm wondering. I'll have to look at those. The coloring. I used to work at a sports store, But thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you guys so much. I hopefully we will hear from Miss Nicole, because I haven't seen her in the chat. So maybe she's having her baby. So maybe tomorrow she won't be in the chat. If she's not in the chat tomorrow, we'll be like, okay, she's having that baby. So, and if she can hear me and she's having a baby right now, congratulations. But I will see you guys all in the next chat. I love you guys so much. Have a great Sunday, and I will see you guys all in the next live.